Yeah, that's actually been the case recently. There's been some things that it's like, Trump supporters are not very up to date with what the administration is doing in all instances. I feel like a lot of them tune out. So, alrighty, to give it a second for people to join up, only send a guest request if you meet that criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We're just looking for debates, everybody. What's up, how old are you?
26.
Do you support Trump?
Sure. No.
Yo, what's up, how old are you? Only send a guest request if you meet that criteria on the screen. Yo, what's up, how old are you?
Oh, 21.
Do you support Trump?
Yes.
Election out today, Harris versus Trump. Who would you rather vote for?
Trump.
Are you driving?
No, I'm in a vehicle though.
Okay, that's totally fine as long as you're not driving. Why do you support Trump?
Yeah, so I guess I would say three main things for me. Tariffs, ICE, and then the Iran war. Or I don't know if I can say war on TikTok.
Okay. What was your birth year, by the way?
05.
And what month?
March 20th.
Okay. Alrighty. And you said you were how old again?
21.
Okay. Alrighty. So you said tariffs, Iran war, and immigration?
Yeah.
Okay. So which one would you like to start with?
Let's start with tariffs.
Okay. Well, tariffs have been horrible. According to the Federal Reserve, there has been we would actually be pre-pandemic levels of inflation if we never imposed tariffs in the very first place. And we've actually seen real domestic manufacturing investment decline every single quarter of Trump's administration so far.
Inflation's about 4% right now, correct?
It is 3.3% over all items and continuing to increase because of the fact that gas prices are going to have an impact on other sorts of prices throughout the entire of the summer.
Yeah, I mean, inflation, though, necessarily, like if you look at the graph of the business cycle, inflation is not necessarily a bad thing, all in all. So I don't necessarily think you can say that we're in like a bad position with that, because inflation could be a sign of a growing economy as well.
Inflation up to the target rate, but not to the level of 3.2% that we're seeing because of the fact that these tariffs have been imposed. And if that was the case, then we would have seen prior to this point a significant reduction in the interest rates from the Federal Reserve, which is not what we've seen.
Yeah, I think also the tariffs, I mean, obviously in the short run, they're not going to be good because you're going to have like an increased price. But in the long run, like economic theory says that more suppliers are going to enter the market and price is going to drop back down to equilibrium. So you'll have the same price, but with a higher domestic output.
But we haven't seen that in terms of investment. Actually, under the Trump administration so far, every single quarter of his administration, we've seen decline in real domestic manufacturing investment after massive growth under the Biden-Harris administration.
Yeah, a few things. I mean, still, it is also technically short run still. I mean, because that's obviously a qualitative term, but short run is probably still in, since, I mean, we've only been in office for what, like a year and a few months. And then also, I mean, I've seen like Nvidia's pledged 500 billion, Apple's pledged trillions, car manufacturing companies have pledged a shit ton of money. I don't know the exact statistics on how much growth we've seen. Do you?
I know the exact amount of reduction, and I will show you. I have this from
yeah, let's take a look.
I got you. Give me 1 second. I got this directly from you can find this on the St. Louis Federal Reserve, and it's from the Bureau of Economic Analysis. Let me throw it up on the screen for you real quick.
All right, perfect.
Alrighty. Let me make it smaller so it's easier.
Is there some kind of like year we can, yeah, what is
it
this showing exactly?
Yeah, I got you. I'll tell you. Oh, oops, sorry. Accidentally just did that. That's incredible. Love when I do that. Give me 1 second. Sorry. This is a little bit scuffed. Alrighty. And I think I'm a little bit too zoomed in. Okay. Sorry. Alrighty. Well, we're just going to leave it at that. Do you see the graph? It's real private fixed. Here, I'll zoom in for you.
Real private fixed investment.
Real private fixed investment manufacturing. Okay. So let's look at the years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you see here in 2017, Q1, this is when Trump gets in office originally.
Yep.
In his first term. This is when he leaves office in his first term. Right? Mm-hmm. This is when Biden gets in office. This is when Biden leaves office right here. And this is Trump.
Yeah. Also, could those, I mean, a lot of business investment could have been, so this is basically like business investment for manufacturing. Do you think that could have not just been because of the rampant inflation due to the pandemic?
No, that's why it's accounting for inflation.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. It was real. You're right. Oh, okay. I don't know then. I mean, but also, still, like, even if it is real, though, aren't you going to typically see more like gross manufacturing investment? Even like, I mean, if there's 9% inflation.
Well, I think it wasn't just because of that. I think that manufacturing investment, that's specifically because of the bipartisan infrastructure bill, the Chips and Science Act, and the Inflation Reduction Act. Those policies put massive investment into manufacturing in this country. So that's why we saw an increase. Trump's not imposing those programs, and it's leading to a decrease every single quarter of his administration. Why? Because the increased cost of manufacturing in this country, because many of the materials used in the manufacturing process are now more expensive. And there's not a long-term incentive to stay in the United States because you don't think the tariffs are going to be there in the long run, because the next administration is just going to come in and get rid of it. So there's not really a good reason to invest in the domestic manufacturing in this country in the short term, in the long run, or at any point in time. It's kind of just an increase in the cost of consumer products for American consumers, which is disproportionately coming from the lowest income Americans. So it's really just a shift in the burden of taxation. That's all it is.
So, without the tariffs, so like, then how are we supposed to? 'Cause I feel like the tariffs might be the only way. Like, how are we supposed to like encourage domestic manufacturing? Because I don't think that investment is going to work. Because I mean, like countries like China, they have different monetary policy. They're able to like pay their workers like $1 a day.
Well, I mean, I don't know if that's a standard that's actually true. I think that's kind of just like a little bit of a ridiculous way of referencing it. I mean, you should look at
Well, I
maybe
mean, they
World
have
Bank
lots of
numbers
there's
before
like
you make a
lots of
claim,
documented
but
cases of slave labor.
you should look at World Bank numbers before you make a claim at and whatnot. That'd be
Right, but
pretty
there's
nice.
also like
But
there's also like
hold on,
tons of
let me
documented cases of slave
please
labor.
finish in addressing this. So
Okay.
government subsidies are a way of competing and innovating in the market. You think that we should be imposing tariffs, which have been ineffective and have just increased consumer prices? I don't see any benefit to that.
Well, I mean, of course they're going to increase prices in the short term, but like the goal is like you have more suppliers in the long run. I guess I'm going to have to look into it more. Then I don't know.
Then you'd need a legislative policy to get that passed. You cannot say that you're betting on long-term gains from an executive policy. Like, that actually is like genuinely insane. You should think about that one, because that's
Why
not
would
a
that be
long-term
insane?
policy at all. Like, no one has ever thought of an executive policy as a long-term policy outside of just the administration. Everyone knows this is like a policy that is specific to the administration and will likely be overwritten by the next administration, especially if the other administrations heavily disagree with the tariff policy, which they massively do. I mean, even a Republican candidate might have a disagreement on that as well that could get in office.
Interesting. All right, I guess I'll have to look into it more. I don't know. I didn't realize that. Thanks for talking,
Okay.
man.
Well, we have more to address, don't we? Iran war, immigration.
I mean, we can talk about it. I've got about 2 more minutes though.
Oh, okay.
I did want to talk. What was the last one?
have a
I
question.
want to talk about the Iran war.
What is the reason that justifies us going to war with Iran?
Yeah, I mean, so I think that they were developing a nuclear weapon. They were one of their people admitted that they had 400 plus kilograms of 60% enriched uranium, and then what was I going to say? Yeah, they're also Shia Muslims. They're 12er. They I feel like they want like a great calamity because that's what they believe. They believe that the 12th Imam is going to come out of the cave and lead Islam to salvation when there's some sort of great calamity. So I mean, I want to take them at their word at that and believe that if they were going to make a nuclear weapon, which they were 7 to 10 days away from enriching the uranium to 90%, they would have actually.
There was no source for that. No source for that. They were 7 to 10 days away from 90% enrichment. Actually, our original strike about a year ago limited them from even developing their nuclear enrichment program. Since about a year ago, they haven't been developing it, according to the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, who testified in front of Congress on behalf of the entire intelligence community, saying specifically that we had no U.S. intelligence indicating that they were enriching uranium or even building up their nuclear program since the original strike of Midnight Hammer about a year ago. And even so that's not an imminent nuclear threat. Secondly, Trump pulled out of the JCPOA, which originally established them below 3.7% enrichment of uranium. They're only up to 60% because Trump pulled out of the deal with Iran through the context of the JCPOA, which would have actually limited that from happening. So that's without war.
Yeah.
It seems like we've met more political concessions and more objectives to the JCPOA than what we've met through the context of the war that Donald Trump claims is over now.
So, well, also though, you said that there was no, what did you say? You said that there was no source that they were 7 to 10 days away. Well, they had enriched uranium when we launched the bunker buster to 60%, and that's just like a well-known fact. I'm not trying to sound condescending, but
I never
uranium
disputed that.
Well, I thought that's what I said though, and you said there's no source that they were 7 to 10 days away from enriched uranium to 90%. But
Yeah,
they admitted they admitted that they had over 400 kilograms of 60% enriched uranium.
yeah, that doesn't
and
mean
it
you're
takes about
7 to 10 days away from 90%. Where do you get that number from?
Yes, that's just how long it takes to enrich uranium from 60% to 90%. 7
What's
to
the
10
source?
days. Let me pull one up for you.
Yeah, I wonder what source is going to provide for this one. Alrighty, give him a second. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen. Helps get it out to more people. If you're a Trump supporter above the age of 18, make sure to send a guest request right now. We are looking for debates. Thank you for the hand, Luis. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. Oh.
Yeah, I can't find an exact source then. Maybe you're right. I don't know. I mean, I was under the impression. I thought that was just like a basic consensus though. Like you could ask ChatGPT. I think it's
I don't
probably
think that's a
accurate.
reliable source.
Yeah,
also,
but I mean, like, okay.
I mean, so it relies upon whether or not they have the resource to do so, whether or not they've taken the enrichment uranium out of the area of that in the first place. And I mean, I don't even think that they were 7 to 10 days away with the level of resources they had.
I think okay. So what I was trying to say was, I mean, that's also like, so do you disagree with the fact that it takes 7 to 10 days to enrich uranium from 60% to 90%?
I've seen no evidence substantiating that. Iran has the capacity within 7 to 10 days at their level of 60% enriched uranium to be able to get there. And if you could provide any source, I'd love to see it. It sounds like you couldn't really provide a source for that.
I don't think I could really provide a source for that. No, maybe you're right. I don't know. So.
But like,
I guess
can you agree that it was better when it was 3.67%?
Yeah, but I feel like also JCPOA. I don't know. I feel like it was kind of like a temporary program because it only.
Of course,
like,
any deal, any negotiation is, even the one that he'll get at the end of this war. Now, let me ask you this question: what political concessions have we got from this war since the start of the war?
Political concessions?
Yeah.
I don't know. We haven't gotten any? I'm guessing.
Not that I know.
Interesting.
And it seems like we got more under the JCPOA. So if we were already in a better standpoint under the JCPOA, Trump pulled us out of that and then puts us into this. That sounds like a foreign policy blunder. Okay? Like, anyone who doesn't acknowledge this as a foreign policy blunder doesn't know what they're referencing here. Because clearly Trump has made the circumstances objectively worse.
Dude, go there. Sorry. Yeah. I guess so. I don't know, man. Maybe you're right. I'll have to look into it more.
Okay.
I mean, nice talking to you, though.
Right.
I got cooked on that, but
Right.
cool.
Appreciate you coming up.
All right, bye.